Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and thanks for tuning in. On today's show, we'll recap the Bulldog Hockey team's NCAA Tournament run. We'll check in with the Ferris State football team during spring drills, and we'll update you on the men's tennis team after a big weekend sweep. We'll start with Bulldog Hockey and head coach Bob Daniels. And Coach, welcome back to the show.
Hey, good to be here. And before we get started, I want to congratulate you. You won the service award here, Distinguished Service Award for Ferris State, and much deserved. Congratulations, Rob.
Thank you very much, Coach Daniels. And let's start. Let's recap the weekend, and a big weekend for the Bulldogs. 2 games in the NCAA tournament. I know didn't end the way you wanted to, but certainly you have to be pleased with your team's performance.
No, it didn't end the way we wanted, but and you're right on the other count, too. Really pleased with the guys. I thought Friday night's game was just a classic game, and that was evenly matched. It could have gone either way. Saturday's game was another great game. Could have gone either way. Felt we really played exceedingly well on Saturday, lost, but all in all, you know, it's less than 48 hours now since that defeat, and it still a little stings a bit, but the reality is more that time goes on, the more we're going to feel good about our season and what we accomplished.
Third trip to the NCAA tournament, third straight time you've reached at least the Elite Eight, and certainly you have to be pleased getting that win on Friday night over Colgate.
Yeah, we really were, and Colgate, you know, it's funny, it's not, you know, when you hear North Dakota in hockey circles, you always think of powerhouse, but, you know, Colgate actually had a tremendous season. We got to see them 4 times throughout the year. It's hard to believe we started our first 2 games of the year with them. We played a game at a holiday tournament against them, and then again here at the end of the year. So we had a really good feel for one another, and I knew going in, I didn't know it was going to be 1-0, obviously, but I knew it would probably be a 1-goal game, potential overtime, and that game lived up to its billing. It was really good, and we're going to see some highlights here. And one of the things that sticks out is you'll see the number of scoring chances both teams have. For a 1-0 game, it was really a lot of opportunities, a lot of good offense. It's just that the goaltending was that good. Both Finn for Colgate and C.J. Mott had great games. And not only did they make great saves, but they controlled the rebounds, and they were the story of the game, really, the goal. And that's the only goal right there that you're going to see throughout the course of the game.
This goal coming from Gerald Mayhew, a freshman who really had a big finish to the season.
He did. If you consider he had 8 goals on the year, and 4 of them came the last 2 weekends of the year. It's amazing. Now, the key for Gerald as we move forward is, hey, can you take that confidence that you built up and become, you know, a named player in college hockey? Because I think he can. I think he's got that kind of skill level. And, you know, you look, you wonder why it didn't come earlier, but the move from junior hockey to college hockey is a big move. And it takes you a while, even if you're a skilled player, it takes you a while to start figuring out how to score at this level. And for a lot of our players, the first thing they have to do is learn how to play good defense. And that's what we require. And then from there, then their offense will come.
Defense, certainly the name of this game. Your team coming up with some big saves, not only from C.J. Mott, but some big blocks as well on the defensive end.
There really was some big blocks. As a matter of fact, all weekend, I thought there was a number of blocks by Kenny Babinski and Travis White. Now, there's other guys that had some big blocks. Corey Kane comes to mind, but there was some big blocks at big times. I know, and I don't think it's on the highlights, but Babinski blocks one late in the game off his foot. He was questionable. You know, first we had to make sure it wasn't broken, and then second, it was questionable whether he'd be able to play because of the swelling in the foot. But you know, as it turned out, adrenaline got the better part of it, and he was able to play on Saturday.
1-goal lead here still for the Bulldogs going into the third, and again a strong third period, and certainly you relied a lot on C.J. Mott here to make some big saves.
We did, and we relied on him really a lot. I thought in the middle part of this period, you could see from about the 15-minute mark down to about the 5-minute mark, that 10-minute segment in there, I thought we really, he stood tall. We spent a lot of time in our own end, and had it not been for C.J., it could have been a different story. And you'll see a couple highlights now as the period wears on. All of a sudden, we get the momentum, which is a good time to have it. You're going to see here Matt Robertson hit the crossbar, and really a good shot. And so, you know, they didn't have the heartburn near the end of the game because of how well we played. But in the middle of that period, boy, we leaned on C.J. hard.
You get the 1-0 victory here in the NCAA tournament opener. You move on. A quick turnaround time the next night, but taking on a North Dakota team that had topped Wisconsin the night before.
Yeah, North Dakota, we had a chance to see that game. Obviously, Wisconsin, a great opponent. North Dakota, couldn't even select who we'd want to face. It didn't matter. They were both going to be good. But we did have a chance to watch them, and we didn't have much on North Dakota. We had seen Wisconsin on TV a number of times throughout the year. Dave Sensor, our video coach, had already broke down both teams. We took that game. He stayed up all night basically and broke down that game. And so we had a pretty good package, a scouting package for the players in the morning. But it was different. It wasn't like Colgate where we really had a good feel. Going into that, I thought it would be a close game, but I wasn't sure. You just don't know how the two teams would match up.
Going to the highlights of Saturday's game, regional final, regional championship game, and the Bulldogs strike first. We'll see the goal from Corey Kane, a senior, another player who had a big finish to the year.
Boy, did he ever have a big finish. And he just, the last couple seasons, when the second half of the year and in playoffs, Corey Kane has come up so big for us. And this was another case. He's got one of the best shots in college hockey, and you can see that to the naked eye, it looks like maybe the goalie made a bad play, but he shot through his screen. He's got a heavy shot. Here you see them get the equalizer at 1-1, and it was on a 5-on-3 power play. And, not that, it was probably good calls, but you hate to give up a goal 5-on-3. I mean, you just hate to be in that situation. I thought, obviously, here as the game wears on, that more and more we started controlling the play. There's the game winner, but after the first period, I think we only gave up 12 shots through 2 periods, a 20-minute overtime, and then a couple minutes here in the second, and really we played as good as we could. Give North Dakota a ton of credit. It's a really nice goal they scored. One of the things you hope for when you go into overtime, especially going double overtime, but you don't want to see a fluke goal beat either. Well, actually, I wouldn't mind a fluke goal beating them, but you don't want to see a fluke goal given up by your team, or nor do you want to see the officials make a poor call that would lead to the game winner. And I thought the officials did a great job. Goalies were stellar in overtime, and the goal that was finally ended our season, though, was a good goal by North Dakota.
A tough way to have your season come to an end, but certainly doesn't diminish the fact that you were able to accomplish some great things this season, winning the WCHA, 29 wins, second most all time in Ferris State history.
You're right, Rob. And again, you don't think of those things during the course of the season, and certainly when the year ends, you're licking your wounds. It was very devastating. Just to give people an idea of what the locker room was like, it was devastating. It's such a funny feeling to be playing and the pace, like all year long, you're just chasing, and then within a second, it's over. I mean, there's no practice the next day, there's no anything, and it's really a difficult feeling. But as that wears off and you start having time to reflect, and certainly as we go into the spring and summer, we'll feel really good about the year. But it is a devastating moment in the locker room. And we knocked out 4 teams this year. We knocked off Lake Superior State that ended their year, Bemidji State, Anchorage, and then Colgate. And that's hard to do, but you get a feel for what those teams went through, and it's not a good feeling. It's tough on everyone. And
Coach, finally, talk a little bit about your senior class. 5 seniors lost graduation here at the end of the year, and 5 seniors that picked up 89 wins, the most by any 4-year class in school history.
How about that? Isn't that something? That's great. 89 wins, you figure that's over 22 wins a year. That's almost unheard of, and it speaks volumes about how good of players they were. More importantly, though, I mean, we're going to miss all 5. We'll miss every one of them. But more importantly, we're going to miss their leadership. And they gave us a great blueprint, though, to follow. I mean, our younger kids did a great job following them and hopefully learning. And then they'll take that, and hopefully now we can use that moving forward. I think these guys learned very well from the 11-12 team, and I think now we'll put this into play, and hopefully we've all learned lessons from these seniors because they were great leaders.
Coach, congratulations again on another great year for Bulldog Hockey.
Thank you very much, Rob.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.